So, recently there was some discussion on the WoW economy subreddit. What's the easiest way to pay for a token or play the game for free? Since you can now buy the token in Wrath Classic as well. Should you buy it on Farm Gold on retail or on Wrath? So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, there's some stuff here. This is the WoW economy weekly wrap-up that Samadon posts on Wowhead. And there are some questions. The thing that most people mention here is like very high-end stuff, at least the first one here. Like GDKPs. If you're just looking to play WoW for free and you're not actually playing Wrath already, then yeah, GDKPs, you're not going to get in. It's going to take a long time. You need to level to 80 and you need to farm a lot of gear and or gold to get into the GDKPs. So yeah, obviously, eventually, once you're rolling, it's probably extremely profitable if these numbers are accurate. I have no idea. I don't do GDKPs because I don't play much Wrath at the moment. But so we're not going to look at that because that's a little bit pointless. You could look at what, say, Kchak is doing on retail as well and be like, yeah, okay, that's the best way to make a token. No, it's not. It's not available for anyone. It's not available at all. So what are we going to look at? We're going to look at farming. How quickly can you farm a token? How much time does that take you? That's the question. So that's a good question to get like a parity because that's relatively available to everyone. Like anyone can farm most methods with a level 80 character. Maybe some of them require gear, as we'll take a look at. But that's the first comparison. So for Wrath, I looked at this. This is a fairly old guide, but it's also mostly raw gold and old material focused. You're soloing mana tombs from TBC. You probably need to be level 80, but it's very easy. You can use some professions to increase your gold per hour, but it's anywhere from 600 to 800 gold per hour. Even done relatively casually is the numbers that Solheim is getting. Obviously, I'm not the farmer. But we'll use that as a baseline. We'll use the entire range, 600 to 800 gold. I don't follow farming trends on Classic. This was something I could find with like verified numbers, which is great, right? So this would put you at needing to farm for 10 to 13 hours to get an EU token, which is about 8,000 gold currently. So not a huge, perhaps not a huge amount. That's like 20 minutes on average per day for the month to play for free. So yeah, it's a time cost. It's not the most extreme one. But what about retail? Well, the retail token is a ton more expensive. It's 400,000 gold. And I struggled a lot to find some farming videos. And for retail, this was eventually what I found. Essentially farming in the Forbidden Reach in a 2x4 group, and you're just looting tons and tons of elemental overflow and turning it into items that you vendor. Apparently around 20,000 gold per hour is possible here. Which is, you might need disenchanting for that, but that's a fairly substantial amount. And this is obviously perhaps not the most optimized, but this is something that's available to pretty much everyone. But you might need a little bit of gear to get into the groups, but as soon as you're max level, this is fairly easily available, unlike, say, farming with gathering professions, which requires a lot of knowledge. So use this as the baseline, but with the 400k token, that's 20 hours a month to get to the token. So obviously it's a lot better to do this on Wrath. Like doing this, if you're just farming, then you're gonna get the token a lot quicker on Wrath. It's about half the time. Even doing like fairly entry level in terms of availability farms, and there are better farms available. There are better gold making methods available in Wrath. So based just on this analysis, yeah, pretty clear that Wrath is the winner. If you want to make a token, that does seem to be the winner. Now this is just the entry level. What about more optimized gold making? Well, obviously the GDKP numbers that was quoted on the Wowhead post is absolutely through the roof. So this guy claims he's making 7,000 to 12,000 gold on Trial on the Grand Crusader, and this is an NA, which is 4 to 5k for a token. So he's making 2 to 3 tokens a week doing GDKPs, or per GDKP in Trial of the Grand Crusader, which seems insane. I guess it's possible, but if that's true, then there's literally nothing that's gonna ever come close to that. It's like the pure top end. That's just incredible. I don't think even the most efficient flipping is gonna ever touch that in gold per hour. That is just absolutely blasting. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other methods, and I focus primarily on using the auction house and professions. And no one really opined here, and that's fine. I have my opinion, and that's that it's a lot easier to make gold on the classic auction house. Why? Because you don't have this stuff. You don't have you have stacks. You have stacks. You don't sell into the entire region. Like on classic, you're only competing with your own realm. You can use stack sizing, which means that there's a lot of extra markets available, like flipping markets, utilizing stack sizing to increase the price. And overall, just a lot easier. There's also more BOEs to craft, more items available to sell on the auction house that you can reasonably get the recipes for without too much effort. Whereas on retail right now, to make a lot of gold using professions, you have to either sit in trade chat a lot to generate crafting orders, or you have to spend a lot of time reposting, recrafting, just very actively making gold. Whereas overall, like, there's a lot more easy methods available for Wrath with just fire and forget, like craft all the glyphs, post them, repost every other day, every day. You'll get some sales every time. And do the same for gems, do the same for transmutes, potions, flasks, sometimes depending on the server. And there's also a lot of gear, like entry-level gear, bags. There's just so many different things, and obviously all of the consumables and enchants as well. That are a lot easier to sell because you're not competing into the region-wide auction house, which you are on retail in Dragonflight, which makes margins incredibly thin, and the sale rate, or makes you work really hard to get your sales. So probably the best way, if you just want to play for free, then you should probably pick up Classic WoW. Like, if it's really imperative for you to play for free, then Classic WoW is the best way, but it is also a much more significant upfront investment. Getting to level 80 in Classic is a lot more work than getting to max level in retail, but once you get to max level on retail, that's where it sort of begins. Then you need to get your knowledge points. There's no easy flipping markets to enter, but yeah, if you eventually build into a big multi-realm flipping empire, then gold making does get easy on retail in some markets, but overall, a lot easier to make a token in Wrath, in my opinion. So if you wanted my advice for playing for free, then Wrath gold making is the way to go.